Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome to the show. We're going to talk about Bama's new tight ends coach that should be able to help the offensive line. We'll get into a little Alabama basketball, talk about some other stuff here as well. Make sure that you like and subscribe. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, two amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. All right, there he is out in Orlando for Mardi Gras break. That's what we have down in L.A. That's Alphonse Taylor. You know him as Shank. I'm Mick Gillespie. What's up, man? I love the palm trees and the condos in the background.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited to be out here, man. Just enjoying some downtime with the family, down here in Orlando, man. Gonna hit a little Disney World, a little Universal. I may be excited more than the kids, but they don't have to know that. You know what I'm saying, man? Just it's gonna be
Yeah.
a good time, man. It's always a good time. I get to travel with my girls, man, and my in-laws. I'm big on family vacations and travels, man.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, good, man. Have a great time. You've earned it. Look, you're working on your vacation. We appreciate that. And I know you were excited about Alabama hiring Richard Owens as the new tight ends coach because he brings not only tight end experience, but also offensive line experience. That's what his job was at Louisville. And you can really tell that Alabama's putting a ton of emphasis right now on getting the run game corrected.
Absolutely, man. And I think that's huge for us because you look back on our season last year, Mick, and we are talking a completely different season if we had any type of run game that we can consistently depend on, right? Especially when you're talking about that playoff run where we just kind of got beat up on in the end because we weren't physical enough up front. We didn't have any type of run game to lean on, right? And so how do you fix those things going into next season? Well, I think DeBoer's done a great job of that by going and getting new coaches. That's step number one, right? They say it's insanity when you continue to do the same things, expecting different results. And I think he's seen the tape and he understood that it was time to go in a different direction. And so we go out, we get Adrian Clem, who is a well-respected offensive line guy. You know what I'm saying? He's really good at what he does. And my favorite thing about him is that he's like a junkyard dog. There's no
Yeah.
passiveness in the way he coaches. He's just like the standard is the standard. That's what he expects from you. And we're not gonna hold your hand and tell you everything's gonna be okay when you don't do the things that you're supposed to do, right? And so that's huge for me because now I feel like we're gonna get that culture in the offensive line room back, because this starts from the top, Mick. You can't expect offensive linemen to come out here and want to play physical when it's not demanded from them, when it's not the standard in the room all the way around. And so having Clem on the O-line room, that absolutely helps. And so you know who's the sixth man of the offensive line, Mick? The tight ends, the hub. And so
Right.
I'm super excited to get a tight end coach in who was a tight end in college, has NFL experience as a tight end, but now he's an offensive line guy, right? And so now
Mhm.
we took our biggest issue, I think, from last year, and we've thrown two brand new coaches at it in an effort to go ahead and change things around, right? And so now we got Clem, who's offensive line, run game coordinator type of guy. So now we got somebody in that can teach the game and show these guys what he wants on the offensive line from a physicality, violence, and effort standpoint.
Right.
And now he has a guy on the side of him in Richard Owens who's going to take that same mentality and instill it in the tight ends. And so now, we have six, potentially seven guys on the field. When I say seven guys, I'd love to see us go two tight end sets, you know what I'm saying? Get in that I formation and just run the ball downhill. But we got two coaches in the facility now that understand what it takes to be successful in the trenches and they understand how to develop guys and get the best out of them moving forward. And I think that's going to be huge for us to go to that next level under the board next year, right? Because we tried to be a primary pass team, and it just didn't work for us, man. Because traditionally, I
Right.
think our identity is being physical, leaning on people for 4 quarters, being able to run the
Yeah.
ball when necessary, and being really good at running the ball. And so when we were built that way and we leaned on the run, our pass game always excelled, right? Because we made defenses stay true. Our play action became more valuable. And it just helped us improve as a team overall because now, if you look back on those games last year, some of those big games we had, like Georgia, we possessed the ball most of the game, Mick, because we were able to find a way to run the ball and we were able to find a way to get some play action going on top of that. And so I'm excited about the addition of these two guys because going into next season, right, I feel like we have a great opportunity to take what we did this year and which really felt like a down year for us on the back end of the season and get over that hump and get to the next level next year.
I talked to Mike Johnson about the offensive line last year. I was like, what happened? Why couldn't we run the ball? And he said he felt like the timing of the offensive line was bad. He said he never felt like they were never in sync. Like there weren't a lot of explosive runs, and partly because there weren't a whole lot of holes there. Did you see it that way? And what do you think the issue was last year?
Yeah, I absolutely am right there with Mike from that aspect because I think one of the biggest things that's undermined about running the ball, Mick, is why you're running the ball. What's the
Mhm.
down and distance? What's the situation? What are we trying to get out of this play call, right? And it just feels like no matter what the situation was last year, we weren't on timing with what we needed to be. We didn't understand the situation. It's damn 3rd and 1, Mick, and there's no change in mentality. You don't see any guys buckling down. To just have that attitude and aggressiveness, like nobody's gonna stop us from getting a damn yard. Like we're Alabama, we
Yeah.
can get a damn yard, right? And I feel like that's some of the stuff we were missing, Mick. And on top of that, it just kind of felt like we were going out there doing what we thought we needed to do. I didn't see any confidence in our run blocking, right? We have traditionally been one of the best teams in the country at running inside and outside zone, and we just couldn't get it off last year. And it was something crazy to see because either offensive linemen couldn't hold their blocks long enough, or running backs weren't finding the holes, right? And so we had a hard time of offensive line and running backs getting on the same page consistently. And when we did get on the same page, Mick, we get in that single back formation, turn around, hand Daniel Hill the ball, and get him downfield right now, we would have success.
Right.
And I think we need to go back to more of that stuff, man, because when we kept it simple in the run game, we had success. But anytime we started bringing all these motions in, all this kind of trick stuff, trying to trick the defense, I think it hurt us in the long run, and we weren't any
Mhm.
good at it. Man,
Mm-mm.
on top of that, Mick, I think we need to have more focus at practice on the run game. Because at times I feel like we had more emphasis on damn trick plays than we did being able to run inside zone for 2 damn
Yeah.
yards to convert.
Yep.
And I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
Do
And
simple
so,
better. Do simple better. Right.
yes, yes, yes. It's just one of those things, man, that make you only need damn 2 to 3 run plays and need to be really good at them. And you can formation the defense however you want to formation them to get back to those
That's
two to
right.
three run plays. That's all you need. And so I think
That's all it is.
that, yeah, last year the timing was always off because that was just nothing that we were absolutely confident in running, that we could go out worse as the season went on.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of that issue was the rotating offensive line last year.
Mhm.
We were rotating guys from right tackle to right guard, left tackle. Well, not left tackle. Proctor was the only consistency in that offensive line, I think, last year. But whatever the case may be, we had injuries, had guys rotating in and out, and we just never had a solid five that we felt like, all right, this is the unit that needs to go out there and continuously play.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that had a lot to do with it as well because anybody that play offensive line knows, Mick, that there needs to be some chemistry, some continuity to the offensive line unit. You have to gel together. You have to be able to make calls on the fly and be able to trust in the guy next to you that even if I don't get the call out, that this guy knows what he's doing and I have faith in him that he's gonna get the job done, right? And so I'm hoping with the addition of Clem and Richard Owens that we get that culture back to what we're used to seeing. And essentially that's going to boost this football team to an entirely different level.
Hey guys, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit. Bunch of really cool concerts coming up. I'm going to tell you about those. Table games and an amazing slots. I mean, you don't have to go all the way to Vegas to get a Vegas style feel. That's Pearl River Resort. That's Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino. There's a skywalk that brings you from one place to the other. You don't have to go outside, and it's like its own little world there. And we'll be there soon for March Madness.
So, Jake, let's break down some game tape.
Hold on, fellas. Steve,
Hey, Jake, you ready to rock?
let's roll, brother.
Guess we're calling plays at Pearl River Resort. Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped. Man, they're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me till Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ain't gonna face reality.
I tell you, Jake's still got game. While Steve keeps rocking aces. Boom, Jake seals it with a pick.
Come call your own plays.
At Pearl River Resort, let's roll.
I don't have to be me till Monday.
All right, there he is, Shank and Mick talking to you on the Bama Tailgate Show. Make sure that you're a subscriber to the channel, like and subscribe. We're getting back in action after a little bit of a hiatus. Look, I went on vacation. We dialed it back after the way that things ended against Indiana. You know, we're looking at the I got to get your take, Shank. I've kind of given my take on this, but AL.com put out a list of where all the money's going in the athletic department. And I was pretty critical of women's basketball and baseball because between the two of them, they lost about $10 million. And I'm saying, hey, you know what? $10 million puts us right there with Ohio State and Texas as far as football goes.
Right.
And when I put this on the screen, and some of you guys have seen this, and I know some of you guys hate when I get into this, but they should have never let me take economics classes at Alabama. Because with that, I've learned that when you're in the red to the tune of $5 million or $4.5 million, that your business isn't cutting it. And when you're up there at 64 million in the green, but you're sliding, you got to put more resources into that. And maybe you could, increase the 147 revenues by adding another 10 or 15 million to the NIL. I feel like we're kind of sliding behind a little bit in the NIL game, and it's going to cost us. What do you think about this?
I mean, man, you're not showing me nothing that we didn't already know. We already knew Alabama football was the big money winner, right? We're the breadwinner on the university campus. I mean, it just is what it is, Mick. I don't really have too much to say about that because we make so much money because we won a lot. Winning generates money, and Alabama football has won on a historic level for a long time now, and it's basically just part of the tradition of the program. And so, I mean, in a perfect world, you'd want every athletic team to kind of live up to that same standard, right? But it's just not gonna happen, Mick. And I mean, making what 65 million net profit a year, we can find a way to come up with 10 million. You know what I'm saying? Because we need it, and that's the landscape of the game now. But I can't fault those other athletic programs for losing money, man, because they didn't have Nick Saban's coaching them up until this point. And so, they're just doing the best they can, man. I mean, men's basketball has turned it around under Nate Oates. How many coaches did we try before we got that excitement back in the Coliseum, right? Before we got that, we expect them to win games now. And so it took a while for them to find it, and they found it, and they're doing really well. And so hopefully other athletic teams follow suit, man, and they figure out a way to become dominant in their own sport.
Yeah. Well, I said this, like, it's hard for me to pick on softball too much when they're in the College World Series a lot. They won a national
Yeah,
championship. They're
yeah,
competing, right? Baseball hasn't been competitive on the top level since Jim Wells was there, right? That was
mm,
in the late 90s. And I'm guessing a lot of you guys, unfortunately, weren't even alive for that, which that scares me a little bit. Even though I don't look like I was around for that, I was right there. And
old
then
man.
years of losing, right? And
Right.
years of not competing for championships. And then women's basketball has been really bad since Rick Moody was there, And I
Hmm.
felt like when they had Wendell Hudson as head coach, I love Wendell. He represents the university in so many different ways. It was a lot easier for me to stomach having Wendell there because of what he brought to everybody in the athletic department, whether that be experience, whether that's what he went through as a person,
Right.
what he could talk to the kids about. Christy Curry hasn't won anything. She hasn't competed for anything. They make the tournament, but they're not a real threat to win the tournament. To me, if you're going to have a program that's not competitive, there needs to be something else that you're getting out of it. And I
Right.
don't feel like that's the case at all for women's basketball. I've been itching for someone maybe that's coming from the WNBA that could get people excited, that might have gone to Alabama, like
Right. Right. No,
the $4.5 million loss and you don't even win anything.
I
Or let's cut
definitely
it.
feel you there. Yeah, we got to shake the tables a little bit. We can't get complacent on these things, mate, because at the end of the day in college athletics, the expectation is to win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're not winning, you better be damn close to winning it all. And that's why I don't have an issue with where Alabama football is right now, because everybody talked about how bad we were going into last season. And we finished with a playoff loss against the national championship team, right? Who
Yeah.
lost to no one, by the way.
Yeah.
So you can kind of live with those type of results, man, because that's competitiveness. Y'all went out there and gave it what you had with what you had, and so you definitely want to see some of these other teams pick it up a bit. But like we know, it takes time, man. But the complacency can't be a part of who we are, though. We have to make some improvements. But you
Yep.
know,
Hey,
lucky for
that's
me, I
it.
get to focus on Bama football.
Yeah. Well, there's some tough decisions have to be made, everybody.
Yeah,
And
absolutely,
it's not just
absolutely.
women's basketball and baseball and all these sports that are in the red. We have to put the resources to football. We can and look, I'm sorry that some of you guys don't like the fact that we're paying players. That's what's going on right now. And if you're making $147 million, right, then some of that has to go to the players. I had Chris Lowe on here yesterday. I asked Chris, hey, are schools abiding by this $20 million or whatever they're supposed to? And the answer was no. And if they're not abiding
No,
by it, then why are we abiding by it? Why aren't we reallocating our resources to make sure that we're not losing our players and we're going out and we're taking the best from other teams? If that's the game we're in, to win a championship, we need to do that. We need to win titles. It affects our entire economy. It's not just the athletic department.
yeah,
And Greg Byrne has some tough decisions to make, because if he doesn't allocate resources to football and we're not able to have a roster that's on an elite level with schools like Texas and Ohio State and Texas Tech and Texas A&M, if we're a feeder school for those guys, guess what, people? Get ready for the Shula days. Just get ready for it. And when we start losing to our rivals every year, like Auburn and LSU, and we're not competing for championships, or even
right,
a run like this year where you're there, but you didn't have a chance to win. You played the best. You weren't even on the same field as them.
right.
It comes down to talent. A lot of that comes down to talent. We got to get them the resources they need.
No, absolutely. And I like that line about you saying we're a pipeline for these other schools. Maybe that needs to be part of the NIL legislation, man. It's just like, all
Yeah.
right, look, if guys want to transfer and, they want to transfer to these bigger schools, how about a buyout?
Yep.
We're losing something and, we've already invested money into this person. If you want this person that much and we're already paying them $1 million, well, you give us that million back or even 1.5 and they can transfer. Cool. You can have
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to get worse and worse, Mick, because due to NIL, you're going to continually take losses with guys transferring in and out,
Yep.
man. And like you said, other teams aren't making the same contributions that Alabama football is, and so something has to be done because we all know if we didn't win games, how different this story would be.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is, Alabama football has won consistently for 10 years plus now, Nick. For 10 years plus now, we've won consistently. And you can go on campus and see some of the stuff that football money has went into building. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like when I was there from 12 through 16, I mean, we were getting a brand new athletic complex while we were on campus. I remember temporarily being in trailers while they were building new locker rooms and weight rooms, right? And then I leave 2016, come back a couple years later, it looks like a completely different complex already. And it's no surprise how many games we won while we were there, Mick. And so, winning generates money. And I think if we continue to win the way we do, man, you're absolutely right. They got to put a little more money into our program because it makes no sense to bring all this money in and you reap no reward for it for your program. And not having NIL is definitely going to hold us back at some point because honestly, the day and age of keeping guys long term and developing them, it's over. Like you need guys that can play and win right now. And having that NIL definitely helps with that, man. So
Right.
something
Hey,
has to
look,
be done.
look, women's basketball, you guys brought in $764,000, and that's what you should spend. That's how business works, right? Baseball, you brought in $2,196,000, then you should spend that, right? The idea that women's basketball brought in $760,000 and they spent $5,433,000. I mean, like, what are you talking about here? Like the NIL isn't supposed to be an excuse for you not to do your job. Where's your revenues at? Like maybe it's up to those coaches to go out there and shake the trees to add more money to the bottom line. Because let me tell you something. If women's basketball quit and never played another game, none of you guys would even know. None of you would even know. I broadcasted the thing. I like women's basketball. Honestly, if we're winning, but we're not. I mean, we're okay, but we're not going to. Well, we're in the top 25. We played cupcake schedule. It's not like we're playing the Nate Oates schedule.
Right.
And if they were competing for championships, if we had Dawn Staley as our head coach, guess what? I'd say, hey, we're losing some money, but you know what? We got some rings. We're representing the university by winning championships. We're competing for championships. We're not.
That's a good
it's
point.
like, it's just like, hey, what are we doing here? So the reason that the alarm's got to be sounded is that if for 1 second you look at that list, you look at what's going on with this football department,
Right.
and let me tell you, I've been around this game for a long time. I know I used to work in that athletic department. I know how all of this stuff works, people. And when we're losing our best players to these other schools because they got more money than us, we have a problem because talent wins championships. How about your team? Did you guys step on the field and look over and go, man, they got more talent than us today? Ever?
Nah.
Ever.
Which is crazy because thinking back on it now, Mick, I don't even know how we would have kept our roster if we had NIL back then.
Right. You better have some cash.
Because I'm talking about, my Lord, you blink and you'll miss a first round pick. You'll miss an NFL draft pick. Like we had just so much from top to bottom, so many guys that could have went anywhere. Like we had guys that were the second and third on depth chart that could have been starters anywhere and decided to play at Alabama. I mean, damn, we had All-Americans on kickoff team, Mick. We had Dan Reuben Foster running down, smacking people on kickoff.
Woo.
You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't that that loudmouth from LSU?
Leonard Fournette.
Didn't he get a little of that?
Oh my God, I remember that.
Look, I'm just kidding. He just talks smack about us sometimes.
Hey, that's one of my favorite memories, man.
He was good.
Yeah,
Except
he
that
was
day. He wasn't
good.
good that day.
I mean, he's making people do flips against Auburn. He's stiff arming them so bad, and then he comes
Yeah.
plays us, and our damn DBs are eating them
He
alive.
got beat up that day.
Yeah, he
Leonard, you
did.
got beat up that day. But here's my point, Shank, and this is the point that I want to make to you guys that are watching, is you have to take out the old school mentality of everybody's there for free, because that ain't the way that it is anymore.
Right.
And if Ohio State and Texas are paying $40 million, we need to pay 50. Okay? We'll make it back up with the winning. We'll make it back up with the championships. You know, Bama's got to get probably a little bit better as far as the way that they have organized their concessions, the different deals that they've done.
Right.
It's time to look internally and say, hey, we got to get lean and mean here, because we're falling backwards right now. And I don't know if anybody besides me senses it, but it's happening. The way that you fix that is with talent on your roster. And the way that you do that now is easy. You buy it. We need to buy it. That's my point, Shank. Tell me I'm wrong.
Nah, I'm with you when you're right, Mick, because at the end of the day, people want to see winners. And people want to see good talent. And so if you got talent and you're winning, it brings in money. It's
That's
simple as that. I'm with you when you're right, dog.
This is the last thing, and I said this to Coker, and he didn't. I could tell he didn't want to comment, but I'm going to say this.
They ain't scared.
So Alabama, I'm gonna you give me your take on this. Alabama has a resource at their disposal that they're paying $500,000 for. That's $500,000. An investment piece.
Right.
A guy that everybody loves. He's on Home Depot. He's on the Verbo commercial. He's on game day. They got to do a better job of utilizing Nick Saban as a resource to help raise money for the NIL. Now, how do you do that? I don't know, especially for a guy that calls his own shots, but he works for you. So if you're paying him $500,000, you need to get, I would say, at least $7 or $8 million out of that investment. Rich people will pay to hang out with Nick Saban.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think we ought to treat Nick like the mega passes used to do. We're gonna get him a commercial with a toll-free number everybody can call to donate money to. you can't tell me there ain't a person in LA that wouldn't donate to Nick Saban for Alabama football. They get that number on their little TV screen. Some poor little granny gonna be sending her entire Social Security check.
Can you imagine the line of people that would like how not happy he would be if he had to do like a really long meet and greet? Like,
oh my God.
How long would it take him to be like $500,000 and worth it? You guys keep it.
Like that would drive him crazy, because I ain't gonna lie. Even at the even when we went up for the reunion game and Nick was down there on the field, it's like, all right, guys, it's time to wrap this shit up. He's like, I ain't paid to be down here no more.
Did your kids get pictures with him?
Nah, man, I went by myself. I wanted to enjoy the moment, man. You know, I take the kids up to some other stuff, but me and the wife went up because I just wanted to bounce around and see all the guys I haven't seen in forever, man, and just catch up and, you know, just enjoy college football as a true fan, man. And so we got to do that, and it was a great time. And on top of that, we beat Tennessee, got to smoke some cigars. That's always a good one.
Well,
but nah,
we don't get that NIL going, we won't be smoking cigars like back in the old days.
Speaking of NIL, did you see the Ole Miss situation? Trembless, I think, is going to be granted another year eligibility because
I saw this.
A judge blocked the NCAA ruling. Dog,
What
NCAA is
going
meaningless
on,
now.
man?
They're meaningless now.
Where's our judge? I want Bediako back.
Hey, at this point, I absolutely do, because the way things are going, I even said anything against Betty, because he's no different than anybody else or anything else that's happening out here, man.
That's it.
It's just like, it's no different at this point. And I've researched on it a little more because we kept talking about it. And I'm just like, man, how can anybody be mad at this guy? Everybody's doing the same thing. And you got Tane Bloods who wants another year eligibility just because he made it to D1 too late. He's just like, that's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. But You know, man, until they figure out something with these circuit court judges and wherever where the money is flowing consistently, because, like, let's be honest, man, NCAA is pointless if they can make a ruling and all you got to do is lawyer up and go
Mhm.
find a judge that has some type of relation to the program to get you an injunction. And so, I don't know, man. You know, this all started with NIL, Mick. It
Yeah,
all
it
started with
did.
NIL. Once
It's a
NIL was
mess.
set forth, NCAA lost all power, and it was showed that they were scamming people all along, honestly. And so nobody
Yeah, they
gives a
were.
crap what they have to say anymore.
I know.
And so, uh, but
Everybody had their hand in the pot except the people that were out there doing the work, and then now it's now we got a system with no rules, and it's terrible. Well, Shank,
uh,
on that note, it was good talking to you today. Let's get back at it. We got to break away from the vacation for a little bit to get back on and do
oh,
another show while you're
absolutely.
down there.
Absolutely.
Have a great time with your family, and don't forget about the crispy screen, everybody. And here's
Oh.
Shank. Here's a different Shank, but the same Shank to tell you about it.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for Daniel A. Moore's next Crimson Classic, the Crispy Screen, guys. What a name to commemorate the Fat Boys. This masterwork commemorates the screen pass to Caden Proctor that outsmarted Kirby and the Georgia defense. Proctor's catch and bulldog dozing run set up Ty Simpson's 3-yard touchdown just before the half, which was a big score for us, guys. Visit DanielMooreArt.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of a special pre-publication pricing for the crispy screen. Go ahead, get into that. Go get you one of those Caden Proctor prints. I'm super excited to get mine in because he's living a dream of all the fat boys. And go look up that crispy screen and get you one, guys.
All right, there it is. There it is, Shank. Have a great time. Roll Tide, brought to you by Pearl
Roll
River
Tide.
Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Timeout Sports Lounge, Vegas-style sportsbook, 20 big screen TVs. You got the window if you need that. You got the full-size bar. You got the kiosks, all that stuff. All the games are on in there. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. It is your Vegas, and it's not that far of a trip. Shank, have a great time. Roll Tide, everybody. Here's
Roll
Jake
Tide.
Coker.
So, Jake, let's break down some game tape.
Hold on, fellas. Steve,
Hey, Jake, you ready to rock?
let's roll, brother.
Guess we're calling plays at Pearl River Resort. Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped. Man, they're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me till Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ain't gonna face reality.
I tell you, Jake's still got game. While Steve keeps rocking aces. Boom, Jake seals it with a pick.
I don't have to be
Come call your own plays.
At Pearl River Resort, let's roll.
I don't have to be